The military infrastructure of NATO is approaching our borders for several decades. And of course, this process is the subject of the most thorough monitoring by our defense ministry. And Russia is taking the necessary measures to ensure its security against the background of the processes you have outlined.
Starmer, Macron and Merz made joint statements after their meeting with Zelensky in London. The 5 conditions of truce in Ukraine were mentioned, including the statement that the EU leaders support direct negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, with the participation of the United States and European countries. What is the Kremlin's reaction?
The Kremlin's reaction was voiced even before this statement was made. It was voiced on Friday by the president during a discussion at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum. The president said that in the current conditions and in the context of the actions we see from the Kyiv regime, terrorist, criminal, aimed at children, it is very difficult to imagine how to negotiate with the Kyiv regime now.
Thank you.
In addition, I would also like to draw special attention to the fact that Macron, Starmer, and Merz are trying to talk about peace, and at the same time accentuate their intentions to assist the Kyiv regime in the production of new types of weapons for the continuation of the war. Is this inconsistency? Is this not a big contradiction? And does this not better demonstrate the true intentions of the European capitals?
About the situation in Crimea, where today a drone hit a passenger train, as a result of which the movement of passenger trains in Crimea was stopped. In addition, there is a shortage of energy carriers, food, and so on. What is the Kremlin's assessment of what is happening?
Of course, the relevant authorities are working to ensure that there is no shortage. We see a lot of agitation, completely unreasonable. Let's remember how a couple of years ago, in Moscow and other major cities of our country, buckwheat was bought, while there was no shortage of buckwheat. Sometimes such emotional actions lead to awkward situations. But again, all authorities are working to ensure that there are no shortages. But the main thing in this is exactly what you mentioned. This is a hit on a passenger train. This is a criminal act of the Kyiv regime. Of course, such actions significantly complicate any further attempts to move to a peaceful settlement. We remain open to this, but you see that the Kyiv regime itself is doing everything to slow down this process.
About Crimea, about the supply of fuel. After all, fuel sales have been limited for a long time. Now there was a limit on the sale of fuel for cash. In general, do you see a threat of a fuel crisis in Crimea due to this isolation from the mainland of Russia?
Measures are being taken to prevent this from happening. Our energy ministry is working on this. At the moment, there really is a certain problem, and a complex of measures are being developed to correct this situation.
Pashinyan's party wins the elections in Armenia with 49.8% of the votes. How does the Kremlin assess the results?
I will refrain from making any official comments at this point, because no final results have been announced yet. We are waiting for these final results. For now, we are carefully recording all the messages that appear around these elections, including messages about the numerous violations that took place during these elections.